You wake up and reach for your phone before your eyes are fully open. You don't even think about it. It's automatic. Your thumb already knows where to go. Notifications, messages, updates. You tell yourself it's just for a minute, just to warm up your brain, just to feel connected, just to avoid the silence. 40 minutes disappear. Now you're rushing. Again. You brush your teeth faster. You skip the stretch. You skip the thought you had about starting fresh. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet sentence forms. Why am I like this? You don't say it out loud, but you feel it. Because this isn't the first time. It's every morning, every Monday, every new beginning. You promise yourself tonight will be different. You'll plan. You'll reset. You'll become disciplined. But by noon, you're already drained. Not from real effort, from switching, from scrolling, from reacting. You open one tab, then another, then another. You start something, you stop halfway. You think about what you should be doing while doing something else entirely. You're busy, always busy, yet somehow never ahead. You see other people moving forward, launching projects, building bodies, growing businesses, becoming confident. And you don't hate them. You study them. You wonder what secret they found, because you're not lazy. You care too much to be lazy. You think about your goals constantly. You replay them at night. You imagine the version of you who wakes up sharp, focused, intentional. But morning comes and you're back in the loop. Start, stop, delay, distract, repeat. At first, it's confusing. You bought the notebook, you watched the videos, you felt the motivation. So why does it fade so fast? Then confusion turns into frustration. You set alarms you ignore, you create schedules you abandon. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll be serious. And tomorrow comes with the same patterns. Eventually, it becomes something quieter. Regret. Not loud regret, not dramatic regret, the soft kind. The kind you feel when you're alone at night, when you realize another week passed and nothing really changed. Not because you didn't want it, but because you drifted again. And the worst part? You start doubting yourself. Maybe you're inconsistent. Maybe you lack discipline. Maybe you just don't have that it factor. But that's not true. You're not stuck because you're incapable. You're stuck in a mental loop. A loop built on comfort, on distraction, on routine that feels safe but keeps you small. Comfort whispers, you've had a long day. Distraction says, this will only take a second. Routine says, this is just how life is. And tomorrow promises redemption. Tomorrow is seductive. Tomorrow feels clean. Tomorrow feels powerful. But tomorrow never asks anything from you. Today does. And that's why today feels heavy. So you postpone. You delay the workout. You delay the hard conversation. You delay the focus work. You delay becoming who you said you would be. And postponing feels harmless. It feels small. It feels justified. Until months stack. Until years stack. And one day you look up and realize you've been rehearsing the same week over and over again. Different dates, same behaviors. But here's the truth. The loop isn't about motivation. It's about identity. You don't repeat what you want. You repeat who you believe you are. If you believe you're trying to be disciplined, you'll keep trying. If you believe you're working on consistency, you'll keep working on it. But if deep down you still see yourself as someone who gives in, someone who negotiates with comfort, someone who waits for the perfect moment, then your behavior will protect that identity. And this is where everything changes. Not when you find a better routine, not when you download a new app, not when you feel inspired again. It changes when you decide who you are. Discipline isn't a schedule, it's self-respect. It's saying, my future matters more than my mood. It's looking at your potential and refusing to insult it. Discipline is control in a world designed to control you. Control over your attention, control over your impulses, control over your direction. And control creates power, real power, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need applause. The disciplined version of you doesn't wake up motivated, they wake up decided. They don't debate with their alarm, they don't argue with their goals, they don't wait for emotion, they move, even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive, even when no one is watching, because they understand something most people never do. Freedom is built in small, unseen moments, not in grand announcements, not in dramatic transformations, but in the choice to break the loop one morning at a time. Most people never escape this mental loop, not because they can't, but because it's familiar, and familiar feels safe, even when it's suffocating, even when it quietly steals years. You're not lazy, you're patterned, and patterns can be broken, but breaking them requires discomfort, silence instead of scrolling, action instead of planning, decision instead of delay. It requires becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves. No audience, no applause, just integrity. And integrity compounds. One kept promise turns into two, two turn into a standard turns into identity, identity turns into destiny. The loop will try to pull you back, it always does. Tomorrow morning will arrive, your phone will be there, your habits will be waiting. The familiar version of you will whisper, just 5 more minutes. The question isn't whether the loop exists, it does. The question is, when that moment comes, when no one is watching, when it's just you and your choice, will you repeat the pattern, or will you finally decide that this is the day the loop ends?